T3Media.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Through the Medias. I'm your host, Joy Fagan, and as always, joining me is Chris Fagan, my husband.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode.
And we also have joining us tonight, Robert.
Well, hello there.
Well, guys, welcome back, I guess, to another episode of Talking Through the Media, your home for entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans, guys. We're going to talk about the rise and the fall of Hulk Hogan. It's hard to say his name without even doing the voice. But we're going to talk about that. And we're going to run down some other headlines, but we're going to cover the fact that the biopic was recently canceled. There was a biopic of Hulk Hogan's life story that was going to star Chris Hemsworth, and we're going to talk a little bit about why that biopic was canceled. We're going to give our thoughts on it, but we're going to go over the whole arc of the rise and, I guess, the fall of Hulk Hogan, or at least the rise and the fall of that biopic, right? So
before we get too deep, I think there was something we were supposed to celebrate.
Oh yeah, guys, welcome to officially 12,000 new followers. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 12,000. Thank you guys for, I posted that on all the socials. Thanking you guys in the community for helping us reach that milestone. Every time we cross another 1,000, I always like to give a shout out to you guys. And I appreciate it. There's going to be a lot of changes we're going to be looking forward to in the near future. So guys, if you want to help us out, we're trying to reach certain goals. I think I have like links in the chat and things like that for like if you want to donate, like super chat questions or donation questions, which that link is year round. I'll start doing better at displaying it on the bottom of the chat. But if you really want to help us out, send us a super chat. Or if you can't do that, send us just a thumbs up. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't become a subscriber to the channel, think about becoming a subscriber. Follow us on all of our socials. We're streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. We're on all the socials at T3Media Studios. But without further ado, let's get right into the main topic. All right, this is going to be a long one. So, Joy, what do we got? No, I mean, when I say this is going to be a long one, this is going to be a long read. But we're going to still keep it a tight 30. So, Joy, what's this? Let's start into the rise of, that's you, the highlighted part. That X.
Put a big X.
I put a big X on it because I didn't want to highlight
don't read that?
Yeah, you read that whole thing.
Okay. I got it. All right. Terry Jean Bollea, better known as Hulk Hogan, is a retired American professional wrestler and a cultural icon regarded as the most recognized wrestling star globally. He rose to prominence in the 1980s after signing with the WWF, which is now the WWE, in December of 1983. Hogan's heroic All-American persona helped spark the wrestling boom of that era, during which he headlined WrestleMania 8 times, headlined 31 editions of Saturday Night's Main Event, and became a 5-time WWF champion, boasting the longest championship reign of the WrestleMania era. In '93, Hogan briefly left the WWF to explore a film and television career, but returned to professional wrestling in '94 when he signed with the World Championship Wrestling, WCW. During his time with WCW, Hogan won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship 6 times, reinvented his character as the villainous Hollywood Hulk Hogan, leading the influential New World Order, NWO, stable and playing a pivotal role in the Monday Night War. His match in '88 with Andre the Giant remains a record-setting event in American television history. Hogan returned to the WWF in 2002 following its acquisition of WCW and won the undisputed WWF Championship before leaving the company in 2003. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in '05 and again in 2020 as part of the NWO. Beyond wrestling, Hogan built an extensive acting career, making his film debut in Rocky III and starring in various movies and television shows, while also releasing music with the Wrestling Boot Band. What do you guys remember about Hogan's career?
Hogan was like the guy, like everywhere. Like that was the guy that everybody wanted, all the kids wanted to meet, to be, to aspire to just just be in his gravitational pull. That dude was, I mean, in other words, that dude was money. He was money. He was. Well, we were talking about this before the show even started. That Hogan was, in my opinion, the first super megastar. I know they use the term superstar a lot. If you're familiar with WWE culture, they don't usually call their wrestlers wrestlers. They call them WWE or WWF superstars. But he was the first megastar, and I mean, because he was everywhere. He was on lunchboxes. He was on. He was the lead voice for the cartoon. Now, do you guys remember that the WWE had a Saturday morning cartoon? Does anybody remember that?
I do vaguely remember that. I didn't mean to watch it, but I do remember that.
I did not watch it, but I vaguely remember that being on. But yeah, I mean the Hulkamania era, right?
I do remember a lot of the Hulkamania because it was like right there also with the Randy Macho Man snap to a Slim Jim. Yeah. all those wrestlers were frequently seen commercials and dolls and stuffed animals, like not animals, but plushies and T-shirts and all sorts of stuff.
Brand recognition and brand promotion. The persona of Hulkamania and the way that the wrestling media put that out there, it really created, even people that did not watch wrestling knew what Hulkamania was. Mm-hmm. You absolutely could not get through life without realizing what Hulkamania was, seeing that bandana,
ripping that shirt off.
Something about the Hulkster, it was just, you had to be somewhere, it filtered into your ears at some point. And for that era, that was the guerrilla marketing stuff. For that era, that was top notch. Yeah. It truly was top notch.
You're right. Hogan was one of those guys that, like Superman, like even if you never bought a comic book or even bought any of that merchandise or bought into it, you can ask an 80 or 90-year-old man, and be like, you know who Superman is? They'll be like, you know who Superman is. Even if you never bought into it, never read a comic book or watched a cartoon, you hear the name, you know it. That name recognition. Hogan was the guy, and even when the Monday Night Wars, it's funny when you bring up the Monday Night Wars, when that started, I stayed loyal to WWF. I never once clicked over to watch WCW, even though everybody was telling me it's better over there. They're kicking WWF's butt and blah blah blah. I never changed that channel. I grew up deep in wrestling. My mother was what got me into wrestling and watching wrestling and whatnot. I mean, speaking of which, that's a guest I need to have on this show one time. My mother even dated a wrestler. Look up Ahmed Johnson. I could tell you some stories. My mother dated him for a while. We met up with. We used to go out with him all the time to events. That's a story for another day. Hogan never got the chance to meet Hogan. I met a lot of wrestlers out there, especially when I worked overseas. But so the entertainment culture with WWE, I'm very familiar. I'm a fan even to this day. I'm still watching it. The equivalent to me to Hogan right now would be The Rock's cousin, Roman Reigns, and that's to me the face of the company right now. He's the tribal chief. But back then, it was all Hogan all the time. I watched the cartoons. I ate the cereal. I said my prayers. I ate my vitamins. I did my homework.
Told you I didn't.
Everywhere.
I didn't watch. I watched Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Oh yeah, I used to love. I felt like that was not me being naughty watching it. It wasn't R-rated or anything like that. It was very PG. But Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling was also. I felt like they didn't get the respect that they deserve. I'm glad that they got that Netflix series that captured a lot of what was going on back then. But that was still back in the day when women were considered like that. Like in WWE, the divas, like women were usually putting bikinis all the time. It was a time like, the women are wrestling. It's like, it's time for a bathroom break. That's what people did. Nowadays, it's more 50-50. The face of the company has been a woman, in my opinion, a couple of times. Shout out to Becky Lynch. But yeah, I was very engulfed into that, and when I started in the '90s and the late '80s and the '90s, when we started getting into these movies, we'll talk about these movies real soon. Let's go into. We talked about a little bit about what we know, what we remember about Hulk Hogan, guys. Let's see if anybody in the live chat talking about what they know, what they remember about Hulk Hogan, or we're talking about the scandals right now. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
No, really just a scandal.
Yeah, we'll get into the scandal. That's going to be like in the third part. This is right now. We just wanted to get you familiar with who Hogan was, what his rise and his start in his career, what it was, and just a little bit about what we remembered about it. But let's now get into the second part of it, the movies that Hogan was very famous for. This is the. No, it's not the scandals part. I think I miswrote. No, here it is. The Hollywood. You mentioned that Hogan was called for a while Hollywood Hogan. That was when he went bad, but it was a play on the fact that he was very much Hollywood. He was one of the one of the few wrestlers that would constantly be booked for his own movies or guest appearances. So let's get into the whole Hollywood Hogan portion of Terry's life. What
we had number one, Rocky III. I think they said
that top highlighted.
Hulk Hogan was featured in and starred in a lot of movies thanks to his iconic popularity and child role model persona. So here's a list of 10 movies that he's been a part of that showcase Hogan's charisma and his transition from wrestling superstardom to acting in various capacities.
Yeah. Like starting with number one with Rocky III. Does anybody? I've seen Rocky III. Okay, I've seen Rocky III. I've seen all the Rockies, and I remember Hogan. Here's the thing: I remember Hogan more than I remember the whole Clubber Lang storyline. That's because I've seen Rocky only maybe once or twice when I was a kid, and Hogan is what stood out to me more than even I probably maybe I watched it and then stopped watching it once Hogan was done, because I know that Clubber Lang was the focus, was the main bad guy, but I don't know why my core memories is Rocky Balboa getting thrown over the ropes. What you remember that movie?
I do. I remember the scene, and I remember going, "Wow, they've got Hulk Hogan in it." It's like it was also kind of weird to see it in a serious kind of role, but it was this lighthearted moment of Rocky having to. It
was like a promotion, I think. A wrestler versus a boxer, right?
Yeah. And it was him having to, appease some of the promotional gods to get a little bit of play and a little bit of visibility, and you could tell that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
And to have Hogan step into that role and be that over the top PR guy in wrestling to make a big fiasco out of it was really interesting scene. And funny that they dropped him in there.
What about you, Joe? Do you remember? Did you watch any of the Rockies? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't think I've seen any of them all the way through.
No.
I've just seen big, chunks here and there.
Yeah.
Of especially the early ones, but not the later. So no,
I'm gonna have to rewatch 3 because I know I probably watched the whole thing, but for some reason Hogan was what stood out to me the most.
Our early years were not full of lots of movies. Whatever came on antenna television
was what you watched.
That's what you got to see.
I would like to see what type of conversations those two guys had off camera.
Oh yeah, I think they're still friends. I think they're still friends. The number 2 on the list was a movie I'm very, very familiar with, No Holds Barred. This was Hulk Hogan and what was the character's name that he will always be Debo to me from Friday, but his character in this movie was Zeus, and because of this movie, he had a short run as a heel in WWF at the time. So this Zeus character broke the fourth wall, went into the WWF for a while, and Zeus and versus Hogan was a storyline for a while.
Wow.
He was a decent wrestler in my opinion back then, but when he became Debo, that was it. I couldn't remember that. No Holds Barred was such a campy movie. I remember when he was intimidating one guy, and he called on by the collar, and he's like, well, "What's that smell?" And he was like, "Dookie." Oh my God, it was so campy, but it was that kind of campy that I love. Does anybody remember that?
Was that the first wrestling movie?
I would say yes, but I'm probably wrong. In my mind, yes. It is the first. It's one of WWE's first attempts at breaking, because WWE Films they started a production company after a while. All those Marine movies and the Wrestler Kane doing that horror movie. What was that? See No Evil, I think that was. Those were produced by WWE. There's some movies out there that are produced by WWE that have nothing to do with wrestling. There's some that they are a legit studio now. So that I think No Holds Barred was their first at producing. I don't know if that was the first wrestling, but I want to say yes. In my heart, yes. So you know what? Yes. But guys, if you guys know the real answer to that, what was the first wrestling movie out there? After that was this Thunder in Paradise.
Suburban Commando.
I'm sorry, Suburban Commando. I skipped the gun. I remember this movie as well. Christopher Lloyd, space. He was, I think, he's an alien, like a soldier from outer space, and we had to crash land to Earth for like maintenance reasons, or maybe he was looking for something. I vaguely remember it. I just remember that it felt like his gear looked like the thing on the glove. Looks like the Power Glove from Nintendo. That's what that looked like to me. I thought that was the look that they were going for, but he was pretty much. I don't know. Like he befriended this family, and for some reason he stayed with. I don't know why, but he was being hunted by another wrestler, a bounty hunter who was played by the Undertaker. I remember that, and the only thing I really remember from this movie was when the Undertaker first spoke in the movie. He had a very high pitched. He's like, "You're a dead man, Ramsey," and he was like, "No wonder you guys never talk." I thought, that can't be the Undertaker's real voice. For years, I thought that was really his voice. That's the only thing that stood out to you. Does anybody remember Suburban Commando? Am I the only one who saw that one? Who remembers Suburban Commando?
I really don't remember a lot about it, to be honest. I do remember thinking that this was probably one of the first times I had seen the action star guy put in like the nanny role.
Yeah.
Into that environment of a family atmosphere, and played light of it. And since then, that's been a pretty common reoccurrence.
Yeah, that was a standard. Yeah. And then after this next one, because I don't remember Thunder in Paradise, but I do remember the next one that came after. Yeah, it was like that. They realized that the family friendly films like Mr. Nanny, that's where the money was, because it was like a blueprint. The Rock did it. Stone Cold, I believe, did it. These family-friendly movies. Vin Diesel did it.
Well, that era of time was very big on kids'
Kid
movie. You know, you had your
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Explorers.
the Beethoven.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking dog movies and.
You know what? Now that you mentioned Beethoven, this
Look
looks
Who's
exactly like the
Talking.
Beethoven. It's the white background with the red colors, and it's the red lettering. This is a very Beethoven type of poster.
I mean, those guys had they're like,
Formula.
okay, well, we've got a formula
Yeah.
that makes money.
White background, red letters, candy cane poster
How
color
many
template.
How many spin-offs and variations of the story can we tell and generate as much revenue as quickly as humanly possible?
Right. I mean, moving on real quick to the next one, like movies that I must have. When my teenage years, I must have started falling off because I don't remember any of these.
No,
The
never.
Secret Agent Club.
No.
It looks very direct to cable. Right there, it looks like definitely maybe it was a Disney. I don't know who produced this one. Never seen it before in my life. Then the next one, what was after that? The Ultimate Weapon. Was supposed to be Hogan appears as himself in a film that satires the film industry. This feels very Last Action Hero-ish. Maybe that's what they were going for. What do you? I mean,
I did not watch this, but that does sound accurate. Now that you mention it, that sounds very accurate.
like they were trying to play on
Yeah.
what was going on at the time, or maybe it was like maybe they were trying to spoof the Last Action. I mean, that was already a spoof in a way. So it's weird that that they would go after something like this, and because this is what 97. This is
Yeah,
that would have been after Last Action Hero, wouldn't it?
No. Last Action Hero. You talking about the one with Arnold?
Yeah, with
No, I
Arnold.
think it came after
that.
that.
That was after that.
This was after that.
No, Last Action Hero came after that.
I think Last Action Hero saw this film and said,
And when
we can do better than that.
I can do it better.
I can make it work.
I can do it.
Nice try, Terry. You don't have the chops. But then after that, there was a movie that I jumped the gun. This isn't in chronological order, but before that it was Gremlins. I remember his cameo in that. Like he broke the fourth wall. The movie, the film actually broke. You made it think that if you were in the movie theaters, it made you think that the reel actually broke, and then some usher in the movie theater found Hulk Hogan and Mr. Hogan, the Gremlins are messing up the film, and then he looks at hey dude, you better put this movie on. We put some good money out there, and if you don't turn that movie, and he does the classic t-shirt rip, and it intimidates the Gremlins to continue the movie. Though I thought that's some good fourth wall breaking. Though to me, that was a clever way they did it.
Yeah,
Chris is correct. The Last Action Hero was from 93.
I knew that was before 97. I knew it. I knew it. Never doubt me ever, because it was.
I thought it was after. I would have guessed 99, 2000.
Because it was in the heights of Terminator 2 and all that. So I was like, no, that has to be before 97. Sansa with Muscles, another one that I
never
definitely missed. That one. You don't think I'm on that's.
Oh,
is that what's her name from?
Yeah, from that 70
show. Yeah, is that what? Is that Mila Kunis? Is that Mina?
That
Mina?
is.
That's Mila, right?
Yeah, Mila Kunis.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Straight to home video. Straight to home video. I never even heard of this from Santa. And then finally, it says, he's not on the poster or anything like that, but it says that he made an appearance in one of the Marine movies. This was the Marine 2. The Marine 1 was like the only financially successful one. That was the one starring John Cena playing a Marine trying to save his girlfriend. Marine 2 starred another wrestler who was in the sequel. And then The Miz took over the series, the franchise afterwards. But turns out, I guess he was in part 2. No, guys, let us know what is your favorite Hulk Hogan starring film or cameo appearance that he had in his Hollywood era. All right. Now, speaking of Hogan and his Hollywood era, this brings us to the scandals, because it's known that Netflix was going to produce a biopic of Terry. What was his last name? Terry
Bollea.
Of Hulk Hogan. And it's now being canceled. We're going to get into that, but before we get into that, I want to run down real fast some of the little hiccups along the way in the career of Hulk Hogan that led to what the current events going on. Babe, you mind? Let's run down some of the stuff.
As early as 1985, we've got the Rock and Wrestling incident, that Hogan faced backlash for allegedly overshadowing other wrestlers and causing tension backstage during the peak of WWF's Rock and Wrestling Connection era.
Number. I don't remember much of that, because that was back when I was a kid. I wasn't even looking for scandals and stuff like that. Hogan could do no wrong back then, so that was something that I never would have known was even happening. I don't remember that much of that at all. Does anybody recall
I
that?
wouldn't have. I mean, I was a small child and whatnot watching that, so.
Yeah, I don't believe I remember anything about that either. One thing, I mean, that was a different era. That was a different era. There was no social media. You did not have the media exposure of these type of incidents.
Didn't get around as much.
And with this being an internal conflict, this was probably an internal scandal that never really probably saw a lot of day. But probably also ruffled a whole lot of internal feathers.
Oh yeah, most definitely. What was the next one?
The WrestleMania 9 controversy back
Hogan
in
unexpectedly
'93.
win of the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 9 was met with mixed reaction as many felt undetermined the rise of that era. It was determined the rising stars are still feeding into this. We're kind of over it, and there's all these new stars. So I don't even know why that's even considered scandal. I thought I highlighted actual like other types of scandal, but say in 2011, the late Ultimate Warrior released a hate-filled attack against his former rival Hulk Hogan, claiming the wrestler icon is a cocaine-abusing dopehead who once tried to get the Warrior to have SCX with his wife. I remember that rant. When he was still alive, he went off on Hogan. I mean, he was airing all types of grievances. And it was on YouTube, and I was and it was weird because then a little bit later he was still invited back to come back to the WWE. It seemed like he kind of got over it all and he was almost gonna. I think he was gonna have another kind of a short run before officially retiring, but it never really happened because then he passed away right after that. I think it was a heart attack. It was weird. It was like as out of nowhere because it was Hogan. To me, it was Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. Those were the two main guys. So I'm not surprised that there was backstage animosity between the two. But I remember that day when that video dropped on YouTube. I was like, wow, that's. I mean, he didn't look bad. He was still in great shape for at his age. But I was so used to the makeup on his face but the things that he was just letting it all out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dropping all the dirty laundry.
Laundry was so dirty. I mean, I'm telling you, it would have gone more viral today if this was in the TikTok in the TikTok era.
Absolutely.
It would have been more viral. Number 3, the Gawker lawsuit, 2012-2016. Hogan filed a lawsuit against the Gawker Media for publishing a spicy tape featuring him, which concluded with a $140 million verdict for Hogan. That was a payday.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Interesting story behind that one as well. So, that was an unfortunate thing for him because that was infidelity calling video. That was ultimately kind of a setup. He was kind of set up for that, and he definitely
financially benefited from that.
But hard to say how much of it could it have cost his career versus
Yeah.
how much did he make. But yeah, there was that was a little dent in the armor, for sure. He still,
I mean, it was the embarrassment of it, and he rose above it. I remember that one. I was like, wow. I mean, like I didn't want to see any of that crap. I was like, hey, I don't want to see a spicy video with Hulk Hogan. but I was like, but what stood out to me mostly was the amount of money he won. I wonder, did he get that payout, or is it still kind of? Did he get it? I mean, if they don't pay, what happens? I'm like, did he actually get a check for it?
A lot of times, if it's a company, I mean, if they don't have 140, you can still take them for what they do. Like, you can liquidate and bankrupt.
They can
But
liquidate their assets.
if all they had is 50 million, then that's all you're going to get.
Exactly.
Yeah, so a little bit of the backstory on that one. It was the lady who he slept with, husband, who kind of set that up and released the video.
Yeah.
Through Gawker, and so he was part of the lawsuits as well.
Make sure
It was Bubba the Love Sponge.
What a name!
I mean, if you're gonna be in the biz, that's the name I'm gonna take. I'm thinking now. From now on, I want to be called that. From now on,
The Love
the
Sponge.
Love Sponge. You like that? Huh? You like that?
Oh, that makes me laugh.
Bubba the way he dropped it too. Bubba the Love Sponge. Out of nowhere. By the way, Bubba the Love Sponge. Just like that name means nothing. I just felt like saying it. The racism controversy 2015, a leaked tape reveals Hogan made racist comments leading to his termination from WWE. This one I really remember. Went on a rant because his daughter, Brooke Hogan, at the time, who was launching her music career. I think was she dating officially, or was she just hanging out with a lot of? What did her boyfriend was a rapper or something like that in the music industry? And he went on this whole long. That was when a lot of people like, oh my God, this is breaking my heart. But if, like I said, if you grew up with wrestlers the way I did and getting the inside, like the guy I mentioned earlier, the person that my mom dated, who's better known as Ahmed Johnson, he told us all the time, like, there's a lot of racism that happens behind the scenes that you will never know about. He didn't name names, but he's like, but basically he was saying, whoever your favorite hero is, that guy's probably a dick in your life.
Brianna Jasmine pointed out, she feels that the cracks started to come through the facade. You started to really see the problems. It would have been 2007, because that is when his son had a horrific car accident for driving under the influence and racing. He was like 16, and the friend that was with him was pretty much disabled for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And they sued the Hogans.
You think that was the beginning of the
They were on that, at that time also, it was in 2007, they were on that reality show. They had the Hogans from 2005 to 2007, and then see the show ended after that.
Yeah.
There was such controversy and backlash from seeing that. Because his children were part of that reality show. Yeah. His son and his daughter and his wife were all on that.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I remember. I don't know if you watched it or not, the Hogan, but I remember hearing about it. But
I do remember seeing the show a few times, but I had totally forgotten all about that accident. Brianna's the one that pointed that out. I had to look it up.
Well, and what's leading to the main topic, pretty much number 5 on the list. What do we got, babe?
There was to be a Hulk Hogan biopic titled Hulk, being produced by Netflix. The project was set to be directed by Todd Phillips, known for directing Joker, and Chris Hemsworth was cast to portray Hulk Hogan. The film aimed to chronicle the life of the wrestling icon, exploring his rise to fame and the impact of his career. However, the project faced challenges and was reportedly put on hold. The cancellation was influenced by various factors, including creative differences and shifts in Netflix's focus regarding biographical films. And now there's speculation as well.
So the speculation, because it came right around the time when this, right here, let me pause it, I guess, right here, when this moment happened right here. So, okay, I'll just read it verbatim. Earlier this month, comments were made about presidential candidate Vice President Kamala Harris during a promotional event for Hogan's new beer at a bar, joking about body slamming her in front of a crowd. Do you want me to body slam her? I had to do the voice. I had to do it. But you want me to body slam Kamala Harris, referring to another wrestling move? Do you want me to drop the leg on Kamala, questioning her racial identity? Is Kamala a chameleon? Is she Indian? And then he stayed. After that, he went like how? But that's a reference to Native Americans. I was like, if you're gonna be
not only is it derogatory, but you also have the wrong.
Be accurate. I was like, at least be accurate. Using an outdated and stereotypical greeting associated with Native American Indians, acknowledging that he might get some heat for that one, implying his awareness of potential backlash, stating that was not me, that was the beer talking. But I know my Hogan sounds more macho man, but I just can't help it. Implying that his comments were influenced by alcohol. And you brought up something interesting about the fact that it's kind of odd that he would be sponsoring a beer, right?
Yes, he is. You see a little bit of a habit of every time he has a big PR problem, you see where he tries to does a little bit of damage control and does some public service stuff and some promotion of charity items, stuff like that, to try and help recover. And he's also been talking about his sobriety. So because there was definitely a lot of issues with substance and drug abuse throughout his career.
Yeah.
And he's really promoting sobriety. That's odd when you're talking about running a bar and such, but but each his own.
So I was about to say, but such is life.
Yeah.
But I mean, but let's get right down to it before I know we're a little over time right now, but let's get into it. This happened right before the announcement that his biopic was canceled. I remember seeing little bits of nuggets here and there. You see Chris Hemsworth, like this picture that's right here. A lot of set photos coming out, photos of him working out. He got into you thought he was in Thor shape. Thor shape was nothing compared to how he's jacked up now for Hogan shape. I mean, those arms were already huge, but what he got himself up to get to that, what do you call it, the 37-inch pythons, brother. The 37, he got, he got himself there. And if I was Chris Hemsworth, I would be ever so pissed because that is not easy to do. But it's not, now they say that it was production hell, and I mean, this is probably true. It was a nightmare getting it done. There was too many hiccups in the road. But I think this was the straw that broke the camel's back on going, let's pull this plug. Let's just go. What do you think? What do you think about that speculation of why they decided to cancel?
I mean, Chris Hemsworth, I'd be mad. Zac Efron has made statements in the past about trying to get in shape for some of these movies he's done and saying, I won't do it again. It's hell on your body, and it's just too much.
You see, you can kind of tell by the way Hemsworth addressed it. He wanted to do this role. You can tell he's somewhat of a fan, so I can see where he's probably a little bummed because he obviously this is not a role that you would just want to jump on, right?
Yeah.
So
I really want to see this.
Yeah, he probably had a little bit of passion to try and make this happen.
Yeah.
As far as the cancellation goes, I mean, you can look back through a laundry list of faux pas on the part of Hogan that would have, in the modern era, would get anyone canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a laundry list. We touched on a few of the scandals.
Yeah.
There are a lot worse that, probably very unpleasant to talk about.
Right.
That were political suicide.
Yeah.
So for them to want to dodge that does not surprise me at all.
And I think for the most part, and by the way, hi to Resident Evil AMC, says hi, hello friends. I think a lot of it had to do with the more than just legacy, just the respect of what he did for the. I think even outside of the WWE, as one of those Hulkamaniacs who believed, I overlooked and ignored as many scandals as I could handle. But once they got darker and more and more, I'm not saying that what he said about Kamala Harris was what the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It was. For me, it was. I mean, I guess I got to use I used the line, didn't I? I forgot it.
For me,
it was the leaked audio, because I heard a bunch of wrestlers who were saying, I've witnessed a WWE superstar say something racist, and as I was in the front row of an event, I've seen it. So I knew that it happened, but I knew it was possible. I didn't want to believe it, but that was the glass ceiling. I guess that's what shattered me. That sound effect in the back of my brain. That I was like, damn it. So I gave him a lot. I gave him a lot of passes, a lot of free range because of the fact that I was a Hulkamaniac. But then as a man, I was like, I got it. Oh damn! I gotta jump off. You know what? Stone Cold is better anyway. And it's funny because those characters like that, there's a lot more anti-heroes in WWE now. Characters who are free to, they kind of still act like bad guys in a way. I forgot what the term is for it when you're not really a hero, you're not really a heel, but you're like right there in the middle. And I think it works better for people because it's like, you know what? I can still be a dick, and if you find out that I'm a dick in real life, you're like, well, it's Stone Cold.
We already knew it. Yeah, he's been.
He's been a dick all along. So it's not that much of a shock. But when you're a John Cena, but it's funny because John Cena started off as a heel. So even if John Cena were to turn bad again or do something shocking or whatever, that wouldn't have hurt John Cena as much because it would have been a complete departure of what he built after the fact. But we've seen it. But when Hogan went heel, it was a shock to everyone. When he turned into Hollywood Hulk Hogan, that shocked everybody. No one thought it would ever happen. So yeah, this whole thing with long story short, I guess that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I honestly think that was for Netflix the straw that broke the camel's back. They knew that they could power forward with so much, but when you have the unforced errors with these scandals happening on top of production nightmare stuff happening, it's like, you know what, maybe it's just not worth it. I honestly feel like I was surprised that this was even going to Netflix. I felt like this would have done well in theaters. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was very curious and see with Chris Hemsworth. I was very curious to seeing this happen. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about, because we talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger, with Suburban, with Last Action Hero and stuff like that. You know what I just remembered? Arnold Schwarzenegger is on the board of directors. He is in charge of Netflix action movies thing. He's on the board he is the guy. He is the head guy helping Netflix with their for the action movie part of Netflix. He's the guy. So I'm pretty sure he was the one who was like, yes, greenlight it. That's my buddy. Let's do it. He's still mad that my Last Action Hero made his. It's what was that movie called? Tropic Thunder, whatever that movie was. I crushed him in the box office, but I would help him. I would give him his own biopic. I'm pretty sure, because I feel like people still kind of want to be in the Hogan business. Your personal politics aside, I don't care who he supports, but I'm just disappointed that after all these years, after all the chances, the second chance, the reigniting of your career, that with all the stumbles that you clearly laid out, and people still find a way to fumble the bag.
Yeah, it's obviously the guy's got some problems with impulse control.
Yeah. Keep your shirt on, brother.
And everyone kind of knows someone like this, right?
Yeah.
They just can't keep their mouth shut, and they make stupid decisions sometimes, and it usually comes back to bite them. You're like, oh man, poor guy, But at the same time, it's like, dude, why could you not just keep it together, man? I missed it. You make your own bed.
What was it? I'm trying to pull it up here. Yeah, because this basically just said because he's a racist coward. Yeah. Breonna Taylor says, I started following the Hogans in middle school because of their show. That was why Joy doesn't watch. I'm the wrestling fan in the house. Joy, but when the WWE started to take reality TV more seriously, I was like, it works. There was another friend of mine. She doesn't watch wrestling at all, but she loved to watch Total Divas, introducing these wrestlers into these other mediums has worked very well for WWE.
I didn't watch the Hogan reality show as a faithful I watched it, but I think a lot of times those shows would get aired on VH1 or MTV, and you would hear reruns and different things. So I would catch it here and there, and it would have a lot of humor in it because you've got people that you saw his face growing up. Oh, here he's got teenage kids and his wife, and his teenagers putting him through dad stuff. Here, put on this silly hat and an outfit. Doing funny things that you're like, oh, that's so. I can relate. That's funny. Haha.
Stallone's had a reality show too, right? With him and his daughters, or something?
A lot of guys have done that. Older with their kids. A lot of rappers and. But yes, I think Stallone has done it.
Yeah. You know what would be the best reality show right now with one of those old school guys? The Schwarzeneggers. But that's never gonna happen. That would be so juicy. First episode, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Really? The maid. But that's just me trying to start trouble. Moving down. Oh, well, what were we talking about? Wait, it says RMJ movie review says very disappointed as a 42-year-old who grew up with him in the '80s. Yeah, it let a lot of people down. That's why I like that's why I like the new faces of companies like these Stone Colds, these guys that they act like jerks on screen, and so they have a little bit more leeway.
Your Ron Riffle.
Uh-huh.
I think some of this was about the scandal stuff. Hulk told Vince about Jesse Ventura trying to form a union.
What was
That was when we were talking about scandals, but I don't know which one that was in
Who
reference
says that?
to. Ron Riffle.
Hulk told. Okay, I found it here. Hulk told Vince about Jesse Ventura trying to form a union. Hulk told. Yeah, I think it was like during the time when Hogan, where the WWE was in court a lot. I like the back when we were talking about maybe the backstabbing. I think if Ron, if that's what you're talking about, I don't know much about about Jesse Ventura. The scandal with him and Vince. I know that Jesse became a governor, if I'm not mistaken. He called himself Jesse the Mind Ventura because he been on his wrestling career. It was Jesse the Body Ventura. He was in politics for a long time. Maybe that's I don't know much about that riff, but I'm gonna have to look into it. He also says it was Bubba the Love Sponge wire, not warrior. Bubba the Love Sponge's wire.
Yeah, Bubba the Love Sponge was at the surveillance video they called the sex tape.
Okay. Ain't no way Thor. This is from Brianna Jasmine. Ain't no way Thor could play him in a biopic. Laugh out loud. I'm bummed because it would have been juicy just to watch.
Brianna also said just now, I'd love to be a fly on the wall at the Schwarzenegger house.
Oh man, dude was married to a Kennedy, man. Talk about fumbling the bag. But yeah, man, it's wild what was going on with Hogan. Let's try to wrap up some of these more of these comments from the Resident Evil AMC. Hulk Hogan host at WrestleMania 30 10 years ago. Yeah. So many times that they've been in the Hogan business. I mean, even when Hogan testified against Vince McMahon in the trial of his life, Vince still brought him back. I mean, it was so many, like you said, once again, Rob, when you said so many times when he should have been probably discarded and let go years ago by the company. They could have turned his back on Hogan a long time ago, but the name, it's still, I think the legacy, it's still kind of, I'm still somebody, brother. We can make some money.
Remember when that was a different era.
Yeah.
That what was acceptable then is no longer acceptable now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, he managed to dodge a lot of bullets, and unfortunately, a bunch of those have bounced back to him.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people with putting some saying Hulk Hogan popular sayings, you know.
Oh yeah, bring them in, man. Whatever your Hulk
The
is.
Resident Evil AMC says, "What you gonna do, brother?"
What you gonna do, brother?
I don't see that. Where?
It's up further where.
Oh yeah, there we go. What you gonna do?
And then someone else.
These 37-inch pythons wrap around you, baby.
Hulk Hogan, it's cheeky, baby. I put you in the camel clutch.
Who had the camel clutch? What
The Sheik?
The Sheik? Oh yeah, the Sheik.
Sheik.
What a name! I like now. I'm thinking about something else. That's a totally different joke that I'm thinking about. The camel toe clutch. Yeah.
Make you humble.
There was so many great names for these finishing moves. Hogan had the worst finishing move of all time. All he did was run off the ropes and just drop his leg on you. Now that was it. But they made it work. Like The Rock had the people's elbow. I mean, it was just the elbow drop. So it's all about how you deliver. It was all about the energy. But it really was one of the worst finishing moves of all time. It was just a leg drop.
I wouldn't want that man dropping his leg on me.
The 37-inch pythons and the 50, the stanky leg. He just drops it right on you. Oh man, what you gonna do, brother? I wonder how many times he farted on people that he didn't like. Jake the Snake, you're gonna get it, brother. I wonder how many times he did that. He had to. Oh man, I would see they would have a term for it called slobber knockers. I always was wondering why they called it that. And sitting in the front row, the WWE. Luckily, it wasn't at my angle. you see a wrestler take a, you know, it's a script, take a fake punch to the face, but he would, that spit, I remember like it was yesterday. I saw that hawk tool go, and it went all the way to whoever was there on that side of the front row. I was on this side, but I was like, somebody just got spat on. Oh, I'm saying myself, but it was that's what it goes. It's a slobber knocker. Nowadays, a slobber knocker would be something else, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay. How do I transition from this? All right, guys. Let us keep your thoughts and your whatever you remember, your favorite Hulkisms. Come, we'll go keep monitoring the lower third, and we'll shout you guys out. Appreciate you guys for keeping the chat funny. And let's go on to real quick. We're gonna do a quick rundown. I had a whole graphic I was working on. I was gonna do a little side thing, but it's not gonna happen now. Let's put us all three on camera real quick. Let's talk about. Let's do the reviews portion of it. Yesterday, me and Joy, we saw was it season 4?
Mm-hmm.
Only Murders in the Building. They
Episode 1.
Episode 1. Well, real quick, what did you think about the show so far and about this season premiere?
I mean, I liked it. I liked that. I mean, we did get away from the building.
Yeah, the murder building. We didn't get away from the murder.
No.
But
I mean, they made reference to like. I mean, it's kind of says bad things about us that it's people just keep dying in our building.
But now the premise is that they got a Hollywood deal and they're making a show about the podcast. And they're being played by Eva Longoria. Oh, we got a new survivor. Thank you. I got to increase the size of that Henderson TV. We got Eva Longoria playing what's her name in real life? The young lady.
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez's character.
We got Zach Galifianakis playing Martin Short.
Short's character.
Which he
those two went.
Called him every name under Zach. Supercalifragilistic.
Oh yeah, Zach. And even he was like, "Oh, are you trying to between the ferns me right now?" I get it's fine. He was like, "Dude, I really don't know who you are." It was hilarious. I liked that episode because, like you said, it got us out of that building. We're there in California working out this deal, and it was just the whole the whole vibe. They flipped it on its head. Like usually. The very first episode, like a person dies, and it's like it's the big mystery.
And then they did, but
they
only us knew that it had happened.
Only the audience knew that somebody died. They went the whole episode not even knowing that there was a body out there, and it was like, when are they gonna finally realize that they're in the middle of another scandal? So I was like, that was a cool way that I thought, wow, they're gonna drag this out. But
Steve Martin is being played by Levy. Yeah, not the son, but the father.
Levy from American Pie, the dad from American Pie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not Dan, not the son, but the dad.
The fact that to me that was perfect casting. And what's his name from Quantum Leap was also.
Oh, Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula. He's also a Steve Martin. He's close with Steve Martin because they have the same stunt.
Stunt double.
Stunt double. The stunt double is the person who's
murder victim, the son.
But
and who they're.
That's my. You know what? That's my speculation. I think it's Scott Bakula. I think Scott Bakula. I think it's him.
The producer of the movie is SNL alum. I can't think of her name, but Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Yeah. She's in this
superstar.
This episode had all the stars in it because, like I said, it's in Hollywood this time, and I think that's what made it fun. It was it just made it. We're out of New York. We're in California. Mm-hmm. We have all these cameos now, not just one cameo. Even Meryl Streep came back from season 2. Mm-hmm. So it's like this was a star-studded episode, and I enjoyed that about it. I had fun with it.
And there was a lot of jokes in the. Martin Short, of course, obviously, he is such a character.
This is what pisses me off about the fact that the Emmys, that they have the bear in the comedy category stealing
from the ones that really are comedies,
because
like heavy comedy.
Murders in the Building deserves best comedy.
Like comedy.
And the Bears gobbling them all up because their categories are all mixed up. Best comedy, drama, just giving it to the bear.
Yeah,
And
that is a little weird.
I don't know why they merged comedy dramas together. Together like that. That's weird. I don't like that. But if you haven't watched Only Murders, have you ever started watching that?
I'm sleeping on this one.
recommend.
I'm sleeping
It's
on this one.
good.
It's
We started a little late as well. Like it was probably the first season we watched. Well, I think was at the end when we started, so we had to catch up. But
so bingeable. If you haven't watched it, here's my guarantee: if you start, you will binge like crazy. It is because they go so quick, and it's like what 8 episodes in a season, something like that. It's
and
so
they
quick.
stick with 1 episode a week.
Yeah. So this
To check that out.
you will love it. So
Thank
go
you,
check it out.
Brianna. Eugene Levy is
Eugene
the
Levy,
dad.
yeah.
Eugene.
Those eyebrows, man. That's
Yes.
the eyebrows are so epic.
And it was also we also did see they had a little. I won't say it wasn't flashback to the show, but flashbacks of their life, showing some old home movies of all three, Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez as young. I mean, Selena Gomez was a little child, and she's talking on the phone. I mean, these are like real videos of them as young people.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
they were.
She's all like,
doing
"Girl."
a montage to their characters.
Characters.
Lives, but they use real footage.
Yeah, and Martin Short is a young man, and Steve Martin is a very young man, and just like home movie
Showing
footage
that
of
they were
them.
meant to be actors in the future. I guess that they always have the acting ability. I thought that was cute. Next on the rundown, what we got? We also saw the season finale of Evil. Now, what were your thoughts? Oh, well, don't.
Okay.
We're not going to give away what happened. But how did you feel about how it? Because I think
I
we're gonna
do
have
see where they said, because I had read ahead of time. It wasn't a spoiler, but it just a read that said it wraps up, so you do get closure. However, it's not so it still has an ending that could be continued because they are all still hopeful that somebody's going to
It was like
pick this
open-ended.
back up.
Yeah.
So yes, I did see that. I mean, I did feel that. Like, yes, we closed things up nicely, but we still have some mystery that we could go forward. We could go somewhere, and I wanted it to go somewhere. I wanted to see more.
I thought the ending was fine, but I was a little underwhelmed. I was kind of disappointed.
Yes, it would have been nice to have some kind of big, exciting, but then I think that would have made it super final.
Yeah.
And I think they were really hoping that somebody's
I
going
guess
to
maybe it was cool the way they opened, they left it open, but me, me being biased on it because me being a bald-headed black guy married to a white woman, I wanted to see that happen. That magic happen. I wanted my scene. I'm spicy.
And our
Interracially spicy.
Our fast forwarding thing just ended with, well, I mean, if you haven't skipped this entire season, don't start now.
Yeah.
The little-
the little skip button thing.
Like-
Okay, now there's my disappointment. I thought, so this is not really a spoiler, but it's like the skip button things. If I was making this show,
He wanted it to get more unhinged.
I wanted to show like a fake little icon, like a little mouse click button thing, like forcing, like pretending like it was actually going to skip it for you instead of you skipping it. Like if you were like us, we never skipped the intro, but I wanted them to skip it for you and like, well, this would have happened if you just, and it showed all kinds of crazy, freaky stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm one of those. I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Was the last skip thing underwhelming, you said?
Yes.
It was underwhelming.
It was just like, it just
gave
basically
another one.
said to the effect, like, don't start now.
Yeah, if you skipped every,
This is the finale. Why skip now? You
If
made it all the
we-
way to the end.
I'm gonna rewatch it. If we rewatch it, I'm gonna skip every time because I assume something weird happens to the show when you skip it. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I thought maybe we skipped once and that was why the internet kind of glitched and streamed it. I thought maybe they would F with you a little bit. I don't know. That's just me assuming.
That would be interesting.
I thought that's what they were doing, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But nobody has kind of talked about what happens when you skip it. I've heard people say they skipped it, but I don't think anything happens.
Has there been a lot of talk about the skip feature? I know we've talked about it.
I talked about it on TikTok, and that video went viral. But I've never seen anybody else talk about it. Like, oh, my house did get haunted. Cause I never seen it. I don't think anything happens. I think the marketing of assuming it's like when people thought Freddy Krueger was real because people actually go to sleep and dream about it. I think it just Mandela affected myself.
Another great guerrilla marketing when War of the Worlds was first put out
on the radio.
On the radio, did you hear about that?
Yeah.
So that
people thought that the aliens were attacking.
People were shooting water towers with rifles because they thought it was
This is the big one, Elizabeth.
Yeah, but I'm so impressed with the marketing guy that dropped this idea in, and I want to mark to see who is the next person that does it.
Yeah,
because somebody, I mean,
it's just like Marvel with the outros. You look forward to it.
Yeah. So somebody else is going to do this. It's got to be. They can't hold it to an exclusive. I don't think there's any way for them to hold it.
You know what show would be perfect for it? James Gunn's show with John Cena. What's his character? Peacemaker. Yeah, that would be. They could do something funny with the skip intro button. I could see that. Because that song was so epic and everybody liked that intro. Nobody like, oh, you can't skip this.
I mean, it was such a great idea. Somebody else is going to use it. And I want to see who's the first guy to go, oh, yeah, we're taking that.
Could you imagine hitting that skip button and then the episode doesn't play for like 15 minutes? You're on punishment for like 15 minutes? Like something like that, like 5-minute lockout.
or something where it makes you press it 5 times.
You got it.
You pressing up, and a little note pops up, please press again. And it just trolls you.
Nice try. 4 times. Yeah. I'm sorry, Robert. I cannot allow that. I kind of like a skip button. Like the skip button moves. Like you can't skip.
What is it? Remember Angry Robot?
Yeah.
Remember the little Angry Robot thing? They did some pretty interesting marketing stuff with the little Angry Robot logo where it was animated and did some stuff. They got some pretty good attention. So yeah, something like that. Just it's such a nice little epic touch, and it's very subtle.
That's what I would add. I would add that skip button that keeps moving away. You can't click it. That's what I'm moving. All right. Next up, some other news that popped up. Let's see if I can. I don't think I have it up here. No, I don't. I'll just mention it. So, we read earlier before the show started. There might be a reversal to Yellowstone's cancellation. I haven't confirmed it yet. I got to do a deep dive on it. But, babe, what do you think?
It doesn't surprise me because I thought when I first heard they were canceling it, I was like, why? Because he's leaving? Who cares?
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm gonna go to Hollywood and make $1 billion with my movie that I'm funding.
We've got a lot of other interesting characters who, for the last season, were taking up most of the screen time anyways. His daughter and her hot temper and her now husband Rip and the other.
Did you say her hot husband Rip?
Her now husband Rip. And the tribal chiefs, and there was a lot of others. They were getting most of the screen time anyways. So I was like, why can the show not continue? They've already numerous times had him have health issues and almost die. So
just finish it off. But
I don't understand.
You watched Yellowstone, right?
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and I think there's still room there for content. Absolutely. Yeah. Whether he becomes a guest appearance guy now and it's on with other people, or if you spin the story away without him.
I feel like if they were gonna continue it, it's always been where he's like, I kept all this to for you guys to inherit. So obviously, to me, the show totally can continue with them fighting over what they've already been doing
with the prequels and stuff as well. They've so you're seeing different eras and different genres and different people. So I don't think it's out of character at all for the series.
Yeah.
They had already kind of talked about, well, if it gets canceled, we may reboot it, call it something else, but just with all the same characters. But I thought, why even need to make it another name? It's still Yellowstone. It's about Yellowstone, the ranch.
Yeah.
There's no need. It's just going to continue on without him. I think see the need.
When I believe one of the spin-offs is going to be that era when done. What's his name? The main character, the father, his younger version, like the actor that plays him like 20 years ago or 20 or something. I'm interested in that era when when his kids were a lot younger and what he had to go through then when his wife was still alive and stuff. I'm pretty sure that era. I think we're getting to that era. I think that would be that might be the spinoff I might start with. I might watch the one with Harrison Ford. I heard that one.
I've heard they are good.
I saw some clips. It looks interesting.
Yeah, we'll check that out. Ted Lasso news was also what came up that it might be happening. Like, this is not a drill. Like I heard that if you wanted to do a continuation without Ted Lasso, you could still do it with just like that song with the rest of the team. The other characters were just as strong, just as well developed, and just as beloved as Lasso himself. I wouldn't call it Ted Lasso. I would name the series after that team, whatever the name of the.
I forget the name of the team,
but yeah. Team. That's. But hear me out. Ted Lasso season 4 should happen without Jason Sudeikis. I 100% believe that he'll make an appearance here and there. I think he's the producer.
But yeah, I think because of the way they ended it with everybody moving forward to their own things, I don't see a reason why we can't see what's been going on with all those guys.
I don't think it definitely. Did you ever watch Ted Lasso? Did you ever get into it?
Not very much. I've watched a couple of episodes, and he was pretty pivotal to me for the enjoyment of the series.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
For the Ted Lasso story, yes.
Yes.
But
once you got to the end to see the growth, I think they could easily continue on the spirit without him.
100%. When you see, if you finish it off, when you see where Ted takes everyone and how like you said, the growth, you can do it without him. Like when you're watching it season 1, season 2, because the story's not over yet. But once it's complete, I feel like the Ted Lasso journey completed perfectly. He might make a call in, maybe he'll visit. I wouldn't, but I feel like the story now can definitely move on without him easily because of how perfectly they ended his story. Not even ended. It didn't really end. He could come back. It would make sense. Even if they did Ted Lasso season 4 would tell it could happen. There's a way it could work. But if they don't want to do it, or if he doesn't want to do it, there's another way that a spinoff, same universe, would still, I think, it probably maybe wouldn't make as much money, maybe be as successful. But if you that positive energy,
I think so many people weren't ready for it to be done anyways, so they
wanted more. No, that's why they ended it so perfectly. They left us wanting more. I saw the Sonic 3 trailer. I'm the only one on the panel that's excited about that. Took the kids to see it. We loved it. We saw part 2. Loved it. Jim Carrey loved it. He was teasing. Talk about we've been covering all these people with these comebacks, and Willie Owoni. Jim Carrey was even thinking he wasn't going to come back, but they called him.
As the great Tabitha and I said, because it's been a while.
Couldn't be drier.
Couldn't be drier.
Well, it's a kid's cartoon, dear. Stop.
Well, I'm not interested.
Dr. Robotnik?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your doctor. Not a Robotnik, but your Doc Ock is perfect. So I can see it. Yeah. I like that.
Then we get to wear a big handlebar mustache.
That's right. I forget about that mustache.
You gotta watch that trailer. You will love what they did in that trailer. Other news was Jurassic World Rebirth first look. Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey keeps the dinosaur franchise roaring. Now you had something that you were thinking about, like you had some thoughts on it before we started the show. Real quick.
I did. I mean, they keep making money. Right.
Yeah.
So
$1 billion.
Yeah, they keep. If these movies keep making money, they're going to keep making these movies. Dinosaurs are equal dollar signs.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs equal dollar signs.
Dinosaurs and ninjas. I'm telling you, that's the money. That's where the money is. You have a dinosaur, a ninja riding a dinosaur, a raptor. There's your $1 billion franchise. All right, there. This Jonathan Bailey guy that's next one. Why do I feel like it would have been better? What's his name from Twisters? What's his name again?
Glenn Powell.
I feel like that should be his role.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, I don't know why I see a Scarlett Johansson and Glenn Powell. I don't know why. But I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't wait to see how Scarlett Johansson handles this franchise. I'm looking forward to it. And one of the next things that's come up, Alan Wake and Control films and TV projects are in the work from Anna Puna. What is it? Anna Puna and Remedy franchises. I know Alan Wake. I know that video game. I've never heard of Control. Never heard of this.
No, I
The World of Alan Wake and Control are the latest video games getting a film and TV treatment. Anna Purna announced Thursday that it has partnered with Remedy Entertainment to develop the popular video games, to develop and produce film, TV, and audio visual projects based on the Alan Wake and Control franchise. Like I said, I know a little bit of Alan Wake. Have you ever played Control or Alan Wake?
I have not played it, but I've seen some clips from footage guys playing Control, and
Is it a horror? Is it a?
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of horror based, almost like a Resident Evil feel.
Is that what's her name? Is that what's her name from The Walking Dead? Is that her?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, it looks interesting. The Silent Hill series, games did really well.
Okay.
In their revisions into film. So
Check it out.
Yeah. Kind of depends on how well the cinematography translates.
Yeah. Like I said, I know a little bit about the Alan Wake, but I never heard of Control. One of the last stories: Vince McMahon docu-series sets Netflix premiere date. Okay, the Netflix docu-series on the former WWE boss Vince McMahon has set its premiere date. The series titled Mr. McMahon. And there's a reason why it's probably titled that. That's where he went by a lot. Mr. McMahon will debut on September 25th. It consists of a 6 one-hour episodes. The official synopsis for the series states: Mr. McMahon chronicles the rise and the fall of Vince McMahon, a controversial businessman and the co-founder of WWE. From his transformation of the WWE from a small regional business into a global entertainment powerhouse, to explosive actual misconduct allegations that led to his eventual resignation. The 6-episode series offers a deep dive into McMahon's life and his enduring franchise. Now, we were talking about that earlier, how could this keep going on Netflix, but Netflix would cancel the biopic? I'm thinking it's because it's a documentary. I mean, that's one. Biopics are one thing, documentaries are another. And if they're focusing on, I think this is a further disassociation of we are no longer in the Mr. McMahon business. I think this is a shot Adam to stay out of this company.
Sometimes too, it's what is our topic. Vince McMahon is already kind of well known for being a shitty human being. Yeah. So it's not new news.
He had a thing
where
in the story
it's like
Kiss My Ass Club, where you literally make people kiss his ass.
Where it's not like, he's a beloved person, and now we're finding out some devastating thing. Oh man, I want to do that. We already know this. Versus here, we want to make a movie about this whole good,
Hulk Hogan glorified.
Yes,
yeah,
and then now we're finding out more crap. Okay, this doesn't bode well for us. It's like different stories going on.
I agree. Like I said, I think this was a shot from the new owners trying to keep him at bay.
Yeah. There's beginning to be a little bit of a popularity for, there's like you watch the reality show for, you like to watch the train wreck. Mm-hmm. Well, now there's a bit of a thing where you want to watch something in it just so you can hate the person in it so much. There's no just to have something to focus your hate at, and that's becoming kind of a popular genre as well. And creating characters that you can despise, and everyone can just enjoy themselves in their hating of this particular individual. We'll see if they take it that way.
Yeah. And last up, there's a little bit of speculation of. Let me see if I can pull it up. Spider-Man 4 potential release date, cast, and everything you need to know. So basically, so what the announcement was that Spider-Man 4 is being speculated to be released between the two Avengers movies. That's the new speculation, which, based on how you look at it, I mean, if it were to come out before the next Avengers movie, I mean, it could be its own standalone thing. But the conversation was, but if it's coming out between the Avengers movies, it has to acknowledge whatever is going on, like after that Doomsday, because we know that Spider-Man is going to have to probably be in Avengers Doomsday, especially if Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. That's totally going to mess with Spider-Man's head, seeing an evil version of his father figure, kind of a thing. So the question is, do you think, if the rumor is true, that if Spider-Man comes out between the two next Avengers movies, does that affect whatever they were planning on? Or does that specifically tell us what Spider-Man 4 might be about? Or do you think it could still just be its own standalone, not really affected much about?
I think it will be a tie-in. Absolutely, they will take that opportunity to draw some tie-ins in.
Mm-hmm.
There may be some other business decisions that are involved in that spacing as well.
Think about like what we talked about last week about the villains and stuff not being used and stuff like.
Yeah. I mean, it would be dumb of Sony not to negotiate for items that will benefit them as well, and play into some of their opportunities.
Justice for Morbius. We're gonna finally get the answers to those Morbius questions that everybody's wanting to know, that tie in and stuff. I don't know. That was just a few things from the headlines that we want to talk about. But guys, thank you for your comments and keeping us talking as we discuss these topics like Hogan and all the various headlines. Once again, guys, if you want to follow us here, come like, subscribe, follow us at T3Media Studios on all the socials. If you're on Twitch and all the other stuff, just follow us there as well. We would love to have you in our community. If you want to follow me directly, you can go to Chris W. Fagan on all socials as well. That's me personally. And Joy, if people want to find you online, where can they do so?
My TikTok is Viola Fagan, and my Instagram is Scrub Hats and More by Joy.
And Robert Reed, if people want to find you online, where can they do so?
You can find my Instagram at RXRProps.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us here for another episode on Talking to the Medias. We'll see you next week. And, we're going to hopefully do some nifty, fun reviews for a screening of Beetlejuice. So stay tuned, guys. Until next time, have a good one. Thank you guys for watching our video. I really do appreciate it. Remember, you can support our show by becoming a member or a patron. So click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss out on when we go live or post new content. Let's stay connected, grow this community together. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's keep talking.